Zobam and Odera were a young, beautiful couple. They looked so perfect together, they could pass for twins. After moving into a new neighborhood, Odera got a new and better job, while Zobam, on the other hand, worked from home. They loved their new neighborhood and apartment. It was much bigger and more tastefully furnished than their previous one. The area was quiet, just as Zobam had always wanted. Flashing back to how they started, Zobam felt genuinely happy with how far they'd come. They both had good jobs that paid well, and most importantly, they had each other. They were so in love. Even 5 years into their marriage, it still felt like they had just met. Odera left for work every morning on weekdays and came home in the evenings to his waiting wife. They always enjoyed each other's company. They were their own best friends. Zobam, owing to the nature of her job, was always at home, except on days she went shopping, to the salon, met with clients, or hung out with her friends Mandy and Ifeoma. She had a man who loved her, a good job, and a dream house, but something still bothered her. One fateful day, Zobam went to a nearby salon to style her hair. The owner, a bubbly young lady with a face full of smiles, welcomed her warmly, noting she was a first-time visitor. She gave her a seat and asked her to wait, promising to attend to her soon. Other ladies in the salon all seemed nice and were chatty. At 11 a.m., the alarm beeped. Tiwa, the shop owner, tuned in to her favorite radio talk show, To All My Sisters, which was just starting. Some of the ladies were familiar with the show, and the anchor's voice boomed from the radio. The program, centered on relationships, was designed for both single and married women. Many women called in to share their struggles, with Jenny, the anchor, offering advice. Most of the stories were heartbreaking, but one in particular shocked everyone. A woman shared how she found out her loving and trusted husband of 7 years had a second family, with 3 kids, and was planning to relocate them abroad. To make matters worse, she realized she had been the other woman all along. The woman was in tears, devastated not only by the betrayal but also by the fact that she hadn't been able to conceive. The salon buzzed with women sharing their experiences and similar stories they had heard. The discussions ended with advice and familiar refrains. Men will stain your white. Men will leave you stranded. Men are not to be trusted. Zobam returned home, her mind heavy with all she'd heard. Her fears, which had once been buried, began to rise again. She told herself she had no reason to worry. Odera loved her and would never hurt her. Yet, the what-ifs haunted her. What if he was tired of waiting? What if he was already making plans behind her back? Though she tried to remain calm, her insecurities took hold. She became suspicious, often snooping through Odera's belongings when he was at work. If he was even a minute late, she assumed he was with another woman and would nag when he got home. Business trips were worse. She'd call repeatedly and complain. She began paying surprise visits to his office, just to reassure herself he wasn't cheating. Their once happy home turned tense. Odera began to dread coming home to an angry, suspicious wife. Zobam, you barely touched your food and you've been moody since we got here. What's the problem? Ifeoma asked, noticing how unusually quiet she had been at their usual hangout spot. Zobam, who normally talked about her job and Odera, was oddly silent. Ifeoma tapped her again, urging her to talk. I missed this month again, Zobam said, near tears. Zobam, I believe God's time is the best. You and your husband are medically okay. Put your mind at rest, everything will be fine, Ifeoma reassured her. Our 5-year anniversary is in 2 weeks. What's there even to celebrate? Zobam said, dejected. You have every reason to celebrate. You're married to someone who understands that it's not in your power to pop out kids at will, and he's willing to wait. He even suggested adoption, but you refused. Stop eating yourself up. Babies will come, but first, you need peace of mind. Enjoy your man and your marriage. You have something beautiful with Odera. Not everyone is lucky to have such a supportive spouse. Enough about me, Mandy, Zobam said. How are you and Dave? He's still not ready. At this point, maybe I use Kayamota to get him to propose, Mandy joked, and they all laughed. But seriously, Mandy, I still don't know why you're with him when you have a list of intentional men begging to love you, Zobam said. I finally listened to you girls. I'm no longer in love with Dave. I'm seeing someone else. No details for now, I will share when I'm sure. They were happy for Mandy. The day was fun-filled with meaningful and meaningless chatter. Driving home, Zobam became lost in thought. Why was she feeling so insecure? She finally admitted the truth to herself. Her dad left when she was 6 because her mom couldn't have another child. Raised solely by her mother, she grew up watching her cry. Her mother later remarried, but the marriage was short-lived due to abuse, and she had remained single ever since. Zobam had always longed for a father figure, though she never admitted it to avoid hurting her mom. She didn't want to end up like her mother, lonely and without a child. Still, she reminded herself, Odera was a good man. In all their years together, he had never given her a reason to doubt him. He even once suggested adoption, but she had refused. She wanted to carry her baby herself. She resolved to return to the gentle, loving wife Odera had married. No more fights. No more suspicions. No more fear. She was not her mother, and Odera was certainly not her father. True to her resolution, she changed. Even when Odera came home late, she never complained or suspected a thing. Peace returned to their home. They were once again the lovey-dovey couple they used to be. One day, Zobam decided to surprise Odera at his office with lunch and gifts. But when she arrived, she found him chatting and laughing with a very pretty, younger woman. Before Odera could introduce them, Zobam stormed out. That evening, Odera explained that the woman was an old schoolmate, newly employed at his firm. He assured her there was nothing between them. Zobam apologized for leaving abruptly, but the image of the woman lingered in her mind, young, pretty, and shapely. Her fears came roaring back. She began asking about the lady daily, until it turned into arguments and Odera warned her to stop. Eventually, Zobam decided to get Kayamota. What could possibly go wrong? It's not like she was poisoning him. She just wanted to secure her man and marriage. She didn't tell her friends, Ifeoma would disapprove, and though Mandy might support her, she preferred to do it alone. She searched online and found a vendor whose page was filled with glowing reviews. She created a new profile and chatted with the vendor. The love doctor asked for their full names and charged her a large sum. A week later, the package arrived, perfume, soap, oil, and a powdered substance, all with instructions. After a month of use and no visible change, Zobam doubled the dosage. Then one afternoon, Odera came home during work hours, saying everything was perfect and that he wanted to spend the day with his beautiful wife. Zobam was thrilled. They spent the day like teenagers in love. In the following weeks, Odera showered her with love and gifts. They visited beautiful places. Everything seemed perfect. After all, it was worth it, Zobam thought, grinning. But one morning, Odera returned home and announced he had quit his job to be with her full-time. He said loving her was the only job he wanted. Zobam was stunned and terrified. From then on, Odera followed her everywhere, to the salon, shopping, even the restroom. At night, he clung to her in bed. He became like a child who couldn't let go. She was effectively imprisoned in her home. When she tried reaching out to the vendor, the chat had disappeared, and so had the profile. Panicked, she contacted Mandy, who was furious but promised to help. A few days later, Mandy arranged a trip to see a powerful witch doctor. They traveled a long distance. To their surprise, the witch doctor was a young man in his 30s, only distinguishable by a chalk mark around his eye and the staff he held. Without asking for details, he said, "I can do nothing for you. The solution lies with you." He instructed her to take Odera back to his hometown, let his bare feet touch his birth home, and confess everything in front of his family. No ritual. No potion, she pleaded. That is the only ritual. You have 3 weeks, or you'll face the consequences. What consequences? He will take his life. And you will run mad. Horrified, Zobam obeyed. Other herbalists charged money and offered potions that didn't work. One echoed the same advice. Broken and desperate, Zobam stopped working and confined herself to the house. With 4 days left, she called her mother and confessed everything. The next morning, her mother Mrs. Necker arrived and insisted they do what was required. With support from her in-laws, Zobam confessed everything. Odera was healed. But, as expected, he divorced her. Zobam, though heartbroken, was grateful. She had a second chance at life and thanked her mother for standing by her. She later relocated with her mother to another country to start over, stronger, wiser, and at peace.